And welcome back to Hannity and Combs. Now, we have been hearing all week about allegations of racism against Senator George Allen, but tonight there are new allegations from the Washington Post that Allen's Democratic opponent, James Webb, also used racial epithets towards African Americans at the University of Southern California back in the 60s. Now, Senator George Allen, by the way, he'll be here to respond to the allegations made against him tomorrow night exclusively right here on Hannity and Combs. But first, is all of these racial accusations, is it business as usual 40 days out of an election, or is there more to it? Joining us now is a journalist. She has been on the campaign trail with Senator George Allen. Kathleen Antrim is with us.
Hey, Sean, it's great to be here.
Hey, Kathleen, how are you? Democratic strategist Michael Brown and Republican strategist Ron Christie. Ron, let me start with you, because there's more to the story about Webb, because Allen's denied it. He said, absolutely not. In the case of Webb, Webb said yesterday, I don't think there's anyone who grew up in the South that hasn't had their words passed through their lips at one time in their life. And now there's an allegation, it was chronicled in the Washington Post today, Ron, where somebody's come forward against Webb and said that Webb told him that they'd hop into cars, go into Watts in Los Angeles with their buddies, they would take rifles with them, they would use racial epithets, use that word, point rifles at African Americans, pull the triggers, and drive off laughing. I mean, should that be explored in this campaign?
Well, Sean, this is just disgusting, first of all. It's sad to see that the politics of personal destruction are alive and well. Senator George Allen is a good man. He's a man who has served the Commonwealth of Virginia with distinction and honor for over 2 decades, first starting off with the House of Delegates and working through to his extraordinary stint as governor of Virginia. You notice, however, Sean, that we never heard any of these allegations when he ran for the House of Delegates, when he ran for Congress, when he ran for governor, and now, of course, is when he ran for senator. Unfortunately, it seems to me that the Democrats are playing a double standard. Well, they have a member, Sean, who is a member of the United States Senate, the former majority leader, who used the N-word from West Virginia. And I'm talking about Bob Byrd, who was in the Ku Klux Klan. There's not a word out of the Democrats about what he had to say.
I'm having a hard time understanding this, because he was the former Klansman, and he just used this word, what, 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
On Fox News Sunday. Kathleen, one of the things, you have spent all this time, have had unbelievable access to Senator Allen. I'm supporting him, by the way. You have had unbelievable access to him.
Yes, I have.
How do you react to this and the person that you spent all this time with?
Well, I have to tell you, Sean, it's simply unbelievable. I have spent hundreds and hundreds of hours with Senator Allen. I have seen this man in the early morning hours, at midnight. I've seen him exhausted on the campaign trail. I have seen him with his family. I have interviewed people now for over 1.5 years. And I have to tell you, I'm here to represent the truth. And these allegations are absolutely false. We have to think about where Senator Allen came from. He came from a family that was integrated in the 60s. That he considers his big brother to be Deacon Jones, the Hall of Fame defensive end. This is a family who doesn't care about a person's color or their ethnicity or their religion. This is a family that cares about a person's character, who they are, and what they contribute.
Let me get Michael Brown in here. Michael, these allegations didn't just surface in the last few days. When he ran in 2000, it surfaced that as governor, he kept a noose in his office hung from a tree. This is not just about hold on, this is for Ron. This is for Michael Brown. Excuse me, you mentioned your dad there for a second, Michael. A noose hung from a tree.
That's a Western motif.
Excuse me, this is for Michael Brown. Michael, is this a little bit of a problem for George Allen?
Of course it's a problem, and it's interesting. The one defense is that it's a decoration. I've never heard that before. But it's interesting. But Alan, it's much bigger than this. It's not just about politics. Race plays a role, gender plays a role in everyday life in America, whether it's in politics, whether it's in business. It doesn't really matter, and that's what the concern is. It's a much bigger issue. It's very unfortunate, but remember, the Republicans, have been doing this for years. You remember the Jesse Helms race in North Carolina against Harvey Gantt.
These are
the kind of things that happen in politics. They happen in elections.
Conrad Burns used the N-word. And let me go to Ron Christie here. He responds angrily when he's asked if his mother is Jewish, and he says to the Times-Dispatch, we're talking about George Allen, I still had a ham sandwich for lunch and my mother made great pork chops. What do you think that's all about? He's got to immediately talk about how eating non-kosher food when he's asked about being Jewish. He gets angry at a reporter for asking the question?
Alan, the reason that Senator Allen got very disturbed at the reporter who asked the question, and that reporter was making very intrusive personal comments about Senator Allen and Senator Allen's family.
Ask the question.
And let me just say this to you, Alan. I've known Senator Allen for 15 years. I've been his friend for 15 years. And as Kathy said, I've been with him late at night. I've been with him on the campaign trail. I worked on his 2000 campaign. I've taken the measure of who he is as a person. And one thing that you Democrats seem to forget is that you're talking about a very strong person with a very strong family, and these baseless allegations hurt his family.
Was it baseless that he had a noose hanging from a tree in his office?
Alan, it is baseless when you look at the number.
That didn't occur?
Alan, what I'm telling you is that the Salon.com article that was out, you look at the 19 teammates that were interviewed for this, the 14 people who either said that Senator Allen was not racist and never used this language.
Why would he have a noose in his office? Can you answer that?
Alan, you're getting fixated on one thing. What I'm telling you,
it's not one thing. That's the problem.
I can answer why he had the noose in his office.
It is not one thing. I'm trying to answer your question, but what you can't seem to wrap your hand around, Alan, is the fact that those who know Alan, those who are his roommates, those who are his teammates, those who are his friends, of which I'm a proud friend of his, know that these are absolutely baseless.
And all you,
no, actually, Alan, I am specifically
Kathleen, why would he have a noose in his office, and why would he immediately have to say he had pork and ham after being asked if he's Jewish?
Okay, let's address the noose, Alan. The man worked as a buckaroo on a ranch in Nevada, in Winnemucca, Nevada, as a cowboy. He used to round up cattle. This was a Western motif. I have done extensive research on this. I know the truth. And I don't understand why it's so difficult for you to accept the truth.
A noose is different from a lasso.
It happened to be hanging in a ficus tree. It was the way the secretary put it there.
All right, we got to break.
I really thought it was appropriate.
Guys, I do find it amazing that the party that elected the former Klansman as their leader thinks they have any moral authority on this issue. The guy that used the N-word 2 years ago on national TV, how they have any moral authority is stunning to me. But anyway, guys, good to see you all. Thank you once again. By the way, Senator Allen is going to join me tomorrow night for an exclusive interview about this controversy.